The time was past 2 a.m. Shopping and traveling healing were all done. Morning shopping had lasted just over an hour. Guy felt he was being too conscious of it. He didn't even notice 0 o'clock pass by. Still, Kia hadn't said anything about being tired. When they finally got home, Kia staggered into the shower. She was horribly exhausted. What am I doing? He thought. Earlier, he thought he'd finished dinner quickly, since he was tired from shopping, but that hadn't been enough. After that, he'd walked at a faster than normal pace. Was I rushing? Because we used up part of the morning. He'd never rushed like that before, no matter how much time he took up sleeping or drinking coffee. Even if there were patients waiting for him, his body couldn't be perpetually active. Some degree of rest was necessary.
焦るくらいならキーヤを置いていけばよかったんだ。僕何をしているんだ。混乱しているのか。なぜ
If Ruaha had been up, she probably would have told him not to push Kia so hard. Yes, he'd pushed her. Because of his absent-minded thought that morning, he'd rushed and increased his healing workload. He hadn't thought about what he should have done. To some extent, it can't be helped. I can't save the lives of everyone in the city. I understand that. And yet, why was I rushing today? He thought about Ruaha's cold words. She was already in standby mode in Kia's bedroom on the second floor, recharging engine energy. What would Ruaha's calm thought process make of it, on this day filled with useless acts?
無駄か。
While gazing at his hands, Guy suddenly remembered the teacher's words.
君は誰だい?
Those words. He said they hadn't been for Guy. However, he began to think about them.
僕は誰だ。巡回医師か。それともキーヤの保護者気取りか。
What could he truly do with that hand? It was shaking, probably because of muscle strain. Because he'd put a great burden on his weak arms. Carrying stuff? That was only natural. I had hands to carry with.
当たり前のこと。当たり前。当たり前か。
However, just how many of those natural things can I do? Can I really do any of them?
感傷的だな、随分と。買い物にいくらか付き合った程度で。
In the past, before he met Kia, the cloud would close off his thoughts right about now. The shadow which danced at the edge of his vision, he was already feeling nostalgic about it. He hadn't seen that figure in quite some time. He'd seen it once again, but now he never saw any trace of it. He had lost that illusion in exchange for hearing the voice of him at his back. The proof of a grating mind, an insanity I acquired over the past 10 years. He confirmed that it wasn't at the edge of his vision. At the same time, he arrived at a certain thought. He felt his hearing sharpen, the phenomenon equation focusing on his hearing. No, hadn't activated it. Besides, he wasn't that good at strengthening his hearing with the equation. All he could do was strengthen his vision and restore himself and others. But Guy definitely recognized it. Silence. The sounds echoed from the shower had vanished. What reached his ears now was the silence of the residential ward. It had been a while since Kia got into the shower. The humming he always heard from her was gone. That upbeat melody wasn't ringing out at all. Could something have happened to her? He stood up.
Kia.
He cleared his ears. There was a sound, but only one. The sound of countless drops of water falling. He knocked softly, but there was no answer. He didn't want to knock too hard, but he had no choice. I knocked strongly, several times. The voice that called his name, the voice that always answered him, it gave no reply. The voice asking him to bring a change of clothes, or some new synthetic soap or shampoo. That reserved voice was gone.
Kia. 開けるよ。いいね。
I placed my hand on the doorknob. The sound of water. Sound of water. Nothing else. Not the girl's words. However, only her voice reached Guy's ears. A faint voice. A voice which didn't reach him until he opened the door. The sound of running water. The high-end quality garments are becoming wet and sticky. The cold air pricked his skin. The girl had been standing perfectly still within the pouring water. She was acting strained, staring off into space. Her flaxen hair was wet. Countless drops traced down her white skin. Her pink eyes were shaking. They brimmed with a hollow light. She was looking at something. Something Guy couldn't see.
なんだ。何があった？
He turned the faucet and the shower stopped. It could be a fever. It could be mutation. Mutating bodies produced horrible heat. Physical mutation after childhood. This reminds me of Old Man Vongu. Invaded his cranial organs and looked at her with his right eye. There was no fever. In fact, it was the opposite. The girl's body was freezing. Delicate, slender white hands and feet. They were horribly cold and shaking slightly, as if they'd break at the slightest touch. She'd been standing there for a long time, letting the shower run in a state of partial undress. Her undergarments were wet and transparent. It was something from the girl's suitcase, high-quality undergarments. Her expression hadn't changed at all from the pouring water. Kia's just standing there, half naked.
水。
Yes, water. He felt no heat. The water pouring down on the girl was cold, not hot.
キア。僕がわかるかい？何があった？
Was she reacting to his words? No. Those were just simple sounds leaking out of her throat. Kia's expression was hollow. She wasn't looking at Guy. Her pink eyes wouldn't focus accurately. She seemed to be looking at something. She was looking at something, even though there was nothing there. A creature? No, I'd noticed a presence that unique. Her small lips moved. I'm alright, so you don't need come? Her big eyes moved.
心配かけてごめんなさい。
キア、風邪をひく。シャワーを止めるよ。いいね。
She's conscious. She's looking towards me. She called my name.
私心と詰めるけ
キア
What? What is she saying? To whom? Weird. Alright. That was a thing that happened. That silhouette spoke to someone. Softly. Softly. A voice that no one could hear. An exquisite synthetic voice made by an artisan. A crack engine type artificial vocal cord shook slightly. No one could hear it. It was her farewell. Standing alone in front of the monorail station at night, that silhouette said,
さようなら
To the girl I've always wanted. To the first person who called me human. She wanted to keep watching her. She wanted to learn why Kia had called her that. That's what she'd decided. Even now, her will hadn't changed. Even so, she was moving her legs. She was headed for that man's nest, a place she'd located by searching information space. I'm going to see that man, the exact opposite of that cracking dock the girl gazes at.
キアごめんなさい何も言わず去る私をあなたはきっと許すのでしょうねそれでも私はあなたの瞳が揺れるのを見たくないこれは私のエゴなのでしょうねさようならたとえ少ししか見ていられなくてもあなたの横顔は美しかった誰よりも
The late-night monorail stops. She steps onto the descending carriage. One steel girl left the 7th tier.